911 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
Hello, captains! Oh, sorry. No, I
JK.
think they all still heard us. They all heard
JK.
us. There's no cameras. Hello, captains! And welcome to 2021!
Hi, Happy New Year. I'm already having a drink.
You're already, yes, why not? Why not? So, we're back, and with episode 491, we've got 10 more episodes. We haven't started this one, so I'm still counting this one. We have 10 more episodes before our 500th episode. That's freaking bananas.
That's a lot.
It's bananas. We're about to do 500 episodes.
Oh, Ken from Chicago. I am drinking whiskey.
Nice, Ken. Nice.
Hi, everyone. I'm back.
Raise your volume. So we've got a standard show going on for you this week, and yeah, we're just gonna jump right into it. As you can see, Mr. Hunter is not with us this week. He is allergic.
Regular Tony has been replaced by Fat Tony.
He has been. It's come to his attention that he is, in fact, allergic to Retinox 5.
I understood that reference.
And he has a headache, so I decided to make a joke about it. Is it Retinox? Is that what?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I got the joke.
I didn't get the joke. Sorry.
It's from Star Trek 4.
Retinox 5.
It's why McCoy gives Kirk glasses, because he's allergic to Retinox 5, which is
That's right.
a procedure to correct your vision, I guess. So
Space LASIK.
yep. Oh, Jamal is correcting us. So yes, thank you.
Retinox.
Thank you. My epic beard is in fact here also.
Oh, I thought it was just dirt.
He says that because I made fun of his 330 shadow.
Just yesterday, just Sunday, I started to shape this out. So I'm gonna see how this turns out. Let's see what happens.
Y'all can't even see my epic beard.
Oh yes, Ken is correcting me. He gives him the glasses in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, and then Kirk sells them in San Francisco in 1986. So.
Wait, what? Oh, right.
Yeah, it's because it's.
Wait, is that supposed to be like a paradox joke?
Yeah, because he says, didn't Dr. McCoy give you those glasses? And he goes, well, that's the beauty of it. He will again.
shoot, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the joke when I was like 8 and first saw that movie.
I haven't seen those in a while. I should rewatch.
Yeah, they're so good, and especially 2, 3, and 4 if you watch them, because it's the Star Trek trilogy is what I call it, 2, 3, and 4, because it's all one continuous story,
Right.
and they pick up back to back to back, and so, yeah, it's good. It's really good.
So, did you guys have a good holiday? Did you guys have a good break? 2 weeks off?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, I've had about 7 months off,
that's
but
right. You've had about 7 months off.
yeah, I had a great time. You know, holidays with the kids is always fun and chaotic, so that was nice.
Mine was me and the dogs. And the whiskey.
Allie and I played dress up. I don't know if you saw.
I saw, dude, that was an
saw.
epic holiday photo.
So Devin, where Devin works, he gets tested like every week. So he's like the only friend that will allow into the apartment, because he and I work at the same place too. So he came over and the plan is we're gonna start an Instagram account. So he's a chef, right? So we're gonna start a Star Trek foods Instagram account, and he's gonna be making it. And so this first dish was supposed to be Heart of Targ. So Allie and I put on our Klingon regalia and ate Heart of Targ on New Year's Eve.
Aw, that's nice. And drink some blood wine.
Yeah, drink some blood wine. So, yeah. All right, here we go. You guys ready to start a show?
I'm sure I'll be rusty, but I'm ready.
All right. We'll start recording here. I hope that you all had. First of all, I hope you guys listened to our bloopers episode that did get released on Monday, where it's a year in hilarity. So we hope that you all in the chat had a very healthy and safe and wonderful, relaxing New Year's. And yeah, that's about it.
I love seeing the comments on the tweets.
Which one?
About the blooper episode.
Oh, I haven't seen them. Did we announce that we published the blooper episode? I didn't know we did.
I thought some people were mentioning it. Yeah. So
I think Jake.
comments.
I think Jake published it. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. What up, Humphrey? So actually, speaking of everybody in the chat, and it's not Elijah anymore. It's Elio. Okay. How about now? Is it better now? You guys hear me better now? I just don't want to peek. That's the problem.
Trust me, dude. You peaked a while ago.
Uh-huh.
Did you miss me? Did you? I'll be honest. Did you miss me?
No, not even a little.
I didn't think so.
Not even a little.
I did.
All right. So, okay, let's do a show. Okay. So the wonderful thing about Restream is Riverside is that it's just going to record automatically.
Ooh. I've never done this before.
All right. Intro in 3, 2. Actually, Kat, why don't you take this?
This week on episode 491 of Priority 1, we trek out a couple... Oh, you know what? I meant to bring this up earlier because that sentence is not complete.
We trek out a couple of
Love
Star Trek.
something.
Star Trek's Doug Jones.
Sorry.
I was trying to fit some words in there, but I couldn't figure out where we were going with that.
All right, you know what? Let's take it from the top. Sorry. We might as well. Where are we here? So at 40 seconds. All right, intro in 3.
Right.
Didn't I just fix it?
No, well, sort of. Just in the wrong place.
Oh, got it. My bad.
Is it Star Trek interviews? Damn it.
Interviews. I'm sorry. A couple of interviews with Star Trek.
Star Trek's. Doug
Trek.
Jones and
Yeah,
Sir
there we
Patrick
go.
Stewart.
That's what I meant. To write. A couple of interviews with Star Trek's
Got
Doug
it.
Jones and Patrick Stewart. Yeah, there we go. Now we got it. Now we're cooking with fire. Gas, whatever the saying is.
Propane and propane accessories.
All right, so intro is starting at 1 minute and 20 seconds. All right,
Oh, I'm
intro
sorry.
in 3, 2.
This week on episode 491 of Priority One, we trek out a couple of interviews with
2021 is off to a great start.
Obviously.
Can feel it.
This week on episode 491 of Priority One, we trek out a couple of interviews with Star Trek's Doug Jones and Sir Patrick Stewart. Shaban fleshes out some Troy Riker backstory. Star Trek gaming has been quiet over the holidays, but Star Trek Adventures isn't oblivious to how tabletop gaming has been affected by COVID. Later, we review Star Trek Discovery's episode, There Is a Tide.
Hello, Captains. You're listening to episode 491 of Priority One, a Roddenberry Star Trek podcast. Your weekly recap and review of all the major news happening in the Star Trek multiverse. This episode was recorded live on Tuesday, January 5th, 2021, and available for download or streaming on Friday, January 8th at PriorityOnePodcast.com. I'm Elio.
I'm Kat.
And Tony is out this week. He just found out that he's allergic to Retinax 5. But filling in is old new Tony.
Or as I like to call myself, the EHH, Emergency Host Hologram. Please state the nature of the
of the podcast emergency.
Yeah, please state the nature of the podcast emergency.
Well, Anthony, Happy New Year, sir. Thank you for filling in for Tony this week. If there was anyone passionate about Star Trek that I would be comfortable filling in his shoes, it's you.
Well, thank you. It's great to be back and glad to see you guys.
All right, let's jump right in, shall we?
Captains, each week between episodes, we love to engage in conversations with you, our listeners, on places like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So, if you aren't already following us on any of those, be sure to look us up. There, we post things like community questions, special announcements, and more. Just search for Priority One Podcast on your favorite social media app, and you'll find us. Or email us. You can reach us at incoming@PriorityOnePodcast.com.
Captains, you might have already listened to our end of year blooper special. And in that episode, I take a moment to really appreciate and be grateful for the amazing accomplishments that we do here at Priority One Podcast. We are all a community of volunteers supported by a community of like-minded fans. And every moment, every podcast is worth it. If not just to communicate and chat with you and share in the passion of Star Trek.
That it?
No, wait.
Oh.
And so thank you again for your loyalty, for your ongoing support of our podcast, and a shout out to our patrons, all of them who on a monthly basis believe in our show enough and find value in our show enough to offer a financial contribution each month via patreon.com. I'm done now.
Okay. If you'd like to join the community, we're always looking for audio editors who can spare 2 or 3 hours a week to help edit one of our segments. Or if you're into video editing, someone who might be willing to clean up the live stream so that we can publish it as a video companion to the podcast. Reach on out to us, because we'd love to hear from you.
How much of this do you want me to do? Because the first part looks like it's from last year.
Oh.
Just editing on the fly. Okay. Check us out.
But most importantly, Captains...
Hold on. I see what I did here.
Let me get the head bounce going.
Yeah, make it radio.
Good radio. Mike, I got nothing.
That was some good radio.
There we go.
Yeah.
Right. Happy New Year, Lawrence. Happy New Year,
Lawrence. Alejandro, did you get my message? Message me on Facebook. All right, go, sorry.
But most importantly, Captains, it's time to inject some new life into the show by adding a new voice into the mix. As the new year begins, it's important that we talk the talk for some
Talk the
important
talk, my bad.
that we talk the talk. Isn't it? Isn't it? Oh, oh wait. It's important that we talk the talk for some important cause. So now it's okay. Okay. As the new year begins, it's important that we talk the talk for some important causes. And now it's time to walk the walk and make changes to the show that reflect our commitment to inclusive to. Do you want me to do that whole thing over?
Yeah, just take it from the top.
But most importantly, captains, it's time to inject some new life into the show by adding a new voice to the mix. As the new year begins, it's important that we talk the talk for some important causes. And now it's time to walk the walk and make changes to the show that reflect our commitment to inclusivity. We're looking for a new host to join us every week to talk about the latest and greatest from the Star Trek multiverse. So, if you've got a lot to say and think you've got what it takes to verbally spar with the three of us, now's your chance to throw your hat into the ring.
Captains, it's unacceptable that I'm the closest thing that passes as a minority. I am, yes, Cuban American, firstborn here in the United States, but the glory of Star Trek is about its vision of equitability, equality, and inclusivity. That the future is mixed. So we can do better. And we hope that you might be interested in joining our team. Actually, I'll take the rest. If you're interested, visit PriorityOnePodcast.com, and up at the very top, there's a link that says join the team. And at the bottom of that page is a form, a handy form for you to fill out to express interest in joining our production as a host. Or email us, incoming@PriorityOnePodcast.com. Done.
Now, let's check out all the latest news from the Star Trek multiverse.
8:46.
Oh, I like this not having to push buttons.
Yeah, we don't have to push
This
buttons.
is nice.
Oh, great.
This is smooth sailing.
All right.
Smooth.
I know, it's nice, right? You just like hang out and you don't have to do stuff except for the reading of the bits.
I feel like you can drink more in this.
Slow down there, Chief.
I ran out. I got to go get the next bottle.
Ooh, what'd you say it was?
The Mascarosa.
Mascarosa. That sounds amazing. I want to see the bottle too, though.
As soon as I get it,
You should just bring the whole bottle.
I'm going to. As soon as Elio lets me go get it, I will.
Just take a picture of it.
I feel like it's a little early to go get the next bottle.
Oh.
All right, let's Trek It Out in 3, 2. On the heels of Star Trek Discovery's third season episode titled Su'Kal, Doug Jones is granted the opportunity to perform without layers of makeup. IO9's James Whitbrook sat down with the actor. IO9's James Whitbrook sat down with the actor to discuss his character's journey and relationships aboard the Discovery. Though it's a bit of a puff piece interview, it definitely provides an opportunity to look at the character of Saru through Jones's perspective. For instance, when asked about being the first alien captain of a title ship, Jones replied, quote, Don't think the gravity of that is lost on me. I know being the captain of a title starship in a Star Trek series. It's a badge of honor. It's huge for me. But then, also to be the first alien in that position is also, wow. There's a little bit of TV history here. And to be a part of that is truly, truly a humbling honor. End quote. Now, this got me thinking. Are Discovery viewers already immortalizing Saru in the same way that we do Kirk, Picard, Janeway, Sisko? Like what's holding me back from elevating him to those standards and choices that the writers for me he's not yet there, right? And I think that's holding me back. Perhaps even the way the writers have written his arc is what's holding me back from seeing him like that kind of captain. What do you guys think?
Well, the others were already captains when the shows started. I don't know if we've made that point. I mean, we do see in the movie where Kirk starts to take command, but that's not the same thing as show Kirk. So they were already established captains. So there's no like, we didn't get to see them screw up or make a wrong decision or do anything that they question themselves at. Because at their point in their careers, they were past that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we're getting to see the title captain sort of in the infancy of their career, and it's interesting. It's cool because you get to see the struggles and the mistakes and the learning, and I think that's the real reason why we're not, you know, sort of, you know, putting him up there on the pedestal with the rest of those captains. It's not that, I don't think it's because his arc is written differently or poorly. It's because that's where his character is in his career as opposed to those other captains.
I want to clarify. When I say that he's written poorly, it's more that, and I said this a few episodes ago, and I can't remember if I said it in After Hours or if I said it in one of our previous episodes, is that the way he's written seems a little too bumbly. Not campy bumbly, but insecure, highly insecure. And I'm kind of hoping that before the season ends, we get a moment where Saru becomes captain, right? That there's something that he does to really elevate himself into that position of authority and confidence and preparedness. But the interview continued, and interestingly, the follow-up dives into Jones's preparation for the role, where some actors are given an opportunity to explore a long arc with writers. Jones prefers to explore the character much like we, the audience, do, episode by episode, telling IO9, quote, "I've chosen to be, well, give me the essentials I might need to prepare for. Otherwise, episode by episode, I'm fine. When I get a script, I'm like, ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's this one? I have no idea what's coming. So when I first signed my first contract for the show, season 1, I was Lieutenant Commander Saru, science officer on the starship Shenzhou. I had no idea what was coming." End quote.
Huh. That's pretty interesting. Like they don't tell him like what's happening for him or how he's going to prepare any of that. I mean, I guess it's good to be surprised.
From I gotta say, from an actor's perspective, I can kind of appreciate that, but nah. Because right, if I'm looking at this, right, if I'm approaching it from a script analysis point of view, I can see why he wants to stay in the moment, right? Why he wants to always be present and reactive to the moment, right? There's the ongoing joke that acting is reacting, right? So
That's not a joke.
I can appreciate that, but at the same time, this character already exists, and I'm just a vessel for the character and the writer's storytelling. So I kind of want to be a few steps ahead so that I can prepare myself. I don't know. I can see the benefit of both sides.
I think it possibly could also come down to they just are not that far ahead in the scripts. You know, I'm sure they have, 3 or 4 ahead, but maybe they don't know where that final arc is going in time to even discuss it.
I don't think they know where the final arc of anything is going in.
Right. Well, and he's a new alien species, which we've never seen before. So I don't know that anyone knew much about what they're supposed to be like or, how they're supposed to deal with things. But for Saru, I thought he always kind of, remember in the first season where he was like, computer, put in the qualities of, or show me all the captains and their qualities and what made them so awesome. I mean, although he didn't listen to it to evaluate his performance, but he still was questioning like whether he was going to do a good job even back then. So maybe it's some consistency. And now that he really is the captain, he's like, oh my God, it's hitting him. I mean,
Well,
'cause-
that brings
yeah, sorry.
that brings us to our first community question this week. Is Saru at the level of reverence that we have for Kirk, Picard, Janeway, Cisco? Let us know in the comments section for this episode at PriorityOnePodcast.com or by replying to our social media posts on our social media channels like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Sorry, dogs are barking because other dogs are barking. All right, hold on. Let me yell at them.
Okay.
What was that community question again? Or
Is
do you want to type it?
is Saru at the has actually
I don't know if I could word it with as much eloquence as you did.
pulled that shit on my ass.
I mean, look, I don't want to make a bidet joke, but I will if I have to.
Dang. Okay. Moving on. In another interview, NPR's Sam Bridger? Bryger?
Yeah, Bridger.
Bridger.
Oh, actually, I don't know now.
I
don't
think
know.
it's Bryger.
It might be Bryger. Yeah, you're right. It's Bryger.
I'm like, I don't listen to NPR's Fresh Air,
But it
but I
sounds like a
used to.
Bryger.
This must be a new, wasn't it Terry Gross used to do Fresh Air? Well, anyway. In another interview, NPR's Sam Bryger of Fresh Air spoke with Sir Patrick Stewart back in July about his reprisal of Jean-Luc Picard in the new series Star Trek Picard on CBS All Access. During the interview, Bryger asked Sir Patrick if he had revisited some old episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation to brush up on the character, to which Sir Patrick replied, and I'm guessing we have a clip,
Yeah, but go ahead and read it just in case.
quote, I'm going to watch Encounter at Farpoint, which was our pilot episode of the series, and I never did. I ended up never watching a moment of Next Generation because, okay, I would have been reminded of some things that I'd forgotten. But the character, but that character was inside me.
End quote.
Sorry, I got freaked out by that. And sorry, I'm gonna do it again. But that character was inside me. End quote. Given the plot to season 1 of Star Trek Picard surrounding AI, NPR's Bryger then played Picard's monologue from TNG's Measure of a Man. Despite not having heard himself deliver the speech in over 30 years, Sir Patrick had quite a bit to say about his own performance. But that's not the interesting part of his reply. When reflecting upon that speech, he recalled a conversation with Whoopi Goldberg. Quote, I'll read this. It's really long. And I don't know who is responsible for that speech, but I've got a feeling there is one word in what we've just heard that actually didn't belong to one of the writers. I used the word slavery at one point, and that word was given me by Whoopi Goldberg. I remember when she and I, it might have been the same episode, Measure of a Man. I think it could have been, when Whoopi and I had a scene in the bar of 10 Forward. And in a break, Whoopi said to me, you know, what we're actually talking about here is slavery. And I think it wouldn't be a mistake to introduce that. And so I think that was why that word cropped up. And I was so thrilled that Whoopi had proposed it and so proud that everyone approved it and it went into the episode. End quote. The interview goes on to discuss Sir Patrick's personal life, including his youth and relationship with his father, who likely suffered PTSD after serving in the war. Oh, that's crazy. Hold on. Oh, okay. The interview goes on to discuss Sir Patrick's personal life, including his youth and his relationship with his father, who likely suffered PTSD after serving in the war, his start in acting, and what's different for him now as an 80-year-old actor versus when he was 35. It's a fascinating insight into the man, so be sure to listen to the entire interview over at NPR. Links, of course, will be in the show notes.
So this interview is not it's got a really good balance between Sir Patrick the person, Sir Patrick the actor, and Sir Patrick the Picard, right? And it's only 17 minutes long. It's under 20 minutes, so I strongly encourage you to listen to the entire interview. And I don't know that I've ever heard him tell that story about the conversation with Whoopi about calling and not being afraid of using the word slavery in describing what was happening in that episode. Now, then again, it might not have not even been this episode, and he might be, recalling it incorrectly. But it's more, what's important there is the conversations that the actors were having when the cameras weren't rolling. That they weren't afraid to have these types of conversations. And that Whoopi was there to say, no, call it what it is. Let's not try to sugarcoat it. Let's not try to shy away from these things the way we do in real life. Let's be real,
Oh, right. Falsehoods, calling them not lies.
Right.
Untruths.
And I got to tell you, when he starts to get personal in the interview, it's really refreshing. And again, I'm not to the level of Sir Patrick Stewart. I'm not a knight, but I dabble in acting, right? And what I really appreciated was how he opened up about why he pursued acting. He said, quote, "I felt safer, and I mean literally, physically, emotionally safer than I had ever felt in my life." And he's describing when he's on stage. And I totally empathize with that. I grew up in a difficult home. I was always anxious. I grew up always anxious with symptoms of OCD. And when I was on stage, when I was performing, all of that went away. All of that goes away. I still have anxiety. I still take medication for anxiety. And all of that goes away the moment I put on a role, the moment the piano starts, the moment I am on stage. So it's refreshing when an actor like of his caliber shares that kind of thing, because it makes me go, wow, yeah, me too.
Aw, that's nice. Plus, he's just an awesome person.
Yeah.
Star Trek's had more than hundreds of writers over 50 years to invent its worlds and try to flesh out their inhabitants. So color us impressed and heartbroken that Thaddeus Troy Riker invented an entire planet before he could have got... So color us impressed and heartbroken that Thaddeus Troy Riker invented an entire planet before he could have gotten a 21st century driver's license. Picard's Season 1 showrunner, Michael Chabon, took to Medium to expand on Thad's early life aboard the Titan, briefly mentioned in the episode Nepenthe, and his formative interactions with its diverse crew.
Was Chabon the showrunner for Season 1? Was he?
Yeah.
For
Wow.
Picard, yeah.
Oh, huh.
Or he was in the later half of it, I think.
No, he was start to finish showing.
He was executive producer, but I don't think he was the showrunner for the whole
Oh,
season.
I thought actually, thinking back, maybe he was. Well, I like him.
Picard's Season 1 showrunner, Michael Chabon, took to Medium to expand on Thad's early life aboard the Titan, briefly mentioned in the episode Nepenthe, and his formative interactions with its diverse crew. It'd be in that early life where home began at a fore and ended at aft, that the linguistic prodigy started building his own homeworld. And as a natural linguist, he started with its language. Kelu, based on the crew's own native languages, and eventually adopted as the ship's unofficial slang.
Unofficial, Mr. Slurry McSlurry with your
Slurry
rosé
McSlurry.
Moscato.
It's Mascarosa.
Oh yeah, I want to see that. Ooh, nice.
It's very red, but I think it's a little bubbly.
Oh, it's kind of dark. Darker
Ooh.
than I
Oh
would.
my gosh. It's bubbly and sweet. That's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, it hurts.
Sorry. I can feel the annoyance. And as a natural linguist, he started with its language, Kelu based on the crew's own native languages, and eventually adopted as the ship's
I think
unofficial slang.
Kelu, based on the crew's own native language.
Oh, Kelu. And as a natural linguist, he started with its language, Kelu, based on the crew's own native languages, and eventually adopted as the ship's unofficial slang. Before his early death, that would build this fictional world. Thad. Before his early death, Thad would build this. Before his early death, Thad would build his fictional world of
Ardani.
Before his early death, Thad would build his fictional world of Ardani based on this early exercise in, well, world building. And when we say world, we're not talking Ardi. I want to switch the I and the A, and it's messing me up. And when we say world, we're not talking Ardani's mere geography. Its resident civilizations, 6 in total, their languages, 6, plus the 4 spoken by non-humanoid animal species, and over 5,000 years of shared culture and political history. The link will necessarily be in the show notes. Is that right? Is that even a...
I think so.
Oh, Panda, I love it.
The link will be in the show notes. There's a Tolkien-esque level. Oh, sociopolitical. Okay. Whew. Jesus, Panda, you got to use all these big words. The link will be in the show notes. There's a Tolkien-esque level of sociopolitical analysis to go through. Now, Elio, I remember you being unsatisfied by story content like this being put in novels and comics like Countdown rather than on the actual shows. Nothing in Chabon's post is important to understanding Picard, and we never even get to meet Thad in the show because his terminal case of plot syndrome. But we do leave Ardani feeling enlightened by what we've learned about the show, or frustrated by what we couldn't
But
have.
do we leave? It's a question.
Oh, but do we leave? But do we leave Ardani feeling enlightened by what we've learned about the show, or frustrated by what we couldn't have in its 13-episode season?
That's a good question. Panda. I mean, Anthony.
Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you.
It's fun that, Chabon, he's a writer, right? This is what he does. And so it's fun to see that he took the time to flesh this out, right? To give us a backstory, to give us something like this. A new book just released today about the Riker Troy life, right, aboard the Titan. And I'm looking forward to reading that for the same reason. It helps with some headcanon. Would I have liked to have seen this much in Picard? Not at the expense of more important things.
I smell spin-off.
I doubt it.
No, I don't think so. But an animated series, maybe.
It always...
A short trek. I could see this kind of being built out in a short trek.
I would love to see something with Thad, Riker, Troy in a short trek. That'd be amazing. I'm always impressed by the level of detail writers go into behind the scenes to create what we see on screen. I mean, we like it, in our minds of watching that episode, we never would have thought that he would have gone that far down that rabbit hole just to help create, this character that's never even on screen, but just to help the relationships of the characters, from that, having had that character in their characters' lives moving forward.
All right, let's move on to the next story.
On December 19th, 2020, Chris Doohan, son of James Doohan, tweeted that he had been keeping a secret for over 12 years. What was this big secret? Well, back in 2008, his father's ashes were smuggled onto the International Space Station. His father, James Doohan, better known as Chief Engineer Montgomery Scott, died in 2005 at the age of 85, but had always wanted to go to space. So his son Chris concocted a plan to get him there. He enlisted the help of Richard Garriott, who was one of the first private citizens to make it to the ISS. Garriott carried 3 laminated cards that included some of his ashes, and by his, I mean James Doohan, and a photo. One of the cards was brought back to give to Chris and is now framed in his California home. Another card Garriott let float off into space. The other was hidden in the space station's Columbus module. Garriott stated, James Doohan got his resting place among the stars. Man, how cool is that? That's
I know.
such a good
It's
story.
Somebody, you know what? It's not that hard to send something into space, right? Or at least to put it into orbit. Just, I've said before that at my funeral, play the Priority 1 theme, and also send my asses.
Literally.
Send my asses to space.
Send my ashes to space.
Yeah, I think orbit, but like beyond that, it requires some other type of propulsion. But if you want to orbit the Earth, for sure. That's really cool. And he kept a secret for 12 years. I don't know that I could do that.
Tony, do you want me to take this? Because it's going to require a little bit of spitballing.
Sure.
All right. And captains, lastly, before we move on to gaming news, we have a few other headlines worth mentioning that you might have missed during our break. First up, the Voyager documentary has been officially announced via a crowdfunding campaign that starts on March 1st. There is a video featuring Garrett Wang. We'll have links to it in our show notes, of course. Also, if you are overseas and you haven't already heard, Star Trek Lower Decks, the animated series by Mike McMahon, is going to finally premiere on Amazon Prime internationally on January 22nd. So, hooray! Finally! And lastly, there's a little bit of news. John Lancie is... And finally, John Lancie might have actually teased that he will be returning as Q. Now, in what capacity or to what extent, we are unsure of, but a cameo video was released of him sharing that information with the recipient of the cameo video. So, we may actually see more Q. Who knows where, though?
Yeah, would that be the cameo E? I don't. Who receives a cameo? Will you be
the
a cameo-er or a
No,
cameo-e? Have you guys ever thought about getting a cameo for someone or wanting to get one from somebody?
No. Maybe, I don't know, maybe. I guess it would depend on who.
Yeah, I'm like, if Benedict Cumberbatch was offering those up, I might do that.
Having worked with actors in the past, I find it incredibly awkward to do that sort of thing. So, yeah, I've never paid for a photo op or for an autograph.
Yeah, it's weird if you work with the people.
Yeah, it's I've gone and gotten photo ops with friends who have paid for them and then asked me to come with them or invited me, and I've gone, like I did one with Mark Hamill.
Bullshit. I would bet five. You know what? Put me in touch with these friends because I would bet $5 they paid for the photo, and then you were like, you know, I can hold your bag next to you while I'm in the shot if you want. Yeah.
I'll get you in touch. Nope, never happened. And it's only been with 2 actors, and that was Mark Hamill and Peter Mayhew, who played Chewbacca, the original
from
Chewbacca.
Dallas. Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Well, captains, that's all the news we have to trek out this week. Now let's find out what happened in the world of Star Trek gaming.
3518. Bullshit.
It's the truth.
Oh, man,
It's
call
so
bullshit,
awkward.
man.
No, I swear to God, I was with a friend in line at Mission, New York. He was getting an autograph from Marina Sirtis, and I stood there and was silent. And I was standing right next to Jonathan Frakes, who I wanted to talk to so badly because he's been an inspiration of mine getting into filmmaking, and I couldn't do it. And I didn't say a word until Marina Sirtis said something to me first. And it was so awkward. It's just an awkward thing. I can't do it.
Yeah, I get weird too.
All right. I know, es verdad. Coño, los amigos míos en España, en Sudamérica, en América Central, todavía no han podido ver al Lower Decks. Unbelievable. I can't believe, when did Lower Decks premiere? It was August,
Oh my gosh,
right?
it was it was
September? August?
no.
September?
It was August or it was the first week of August. I
Yeah, it
think.
was like the first week. Yeah. Unbelievable. Gazpacho. Nice. All right. Gaming.
I guess that made it to the blooper reel.
Yeah.
What did?
The gazpacho incident.
What up, Z?
Hey, Zep Films, what up?
Do we have any Armada news? Did you fill out Armada news or anything this week?
I did not, but I can wing it.
All right. So Stone News we're gonna do at 37:10. Stone News or gaming news in 3, 2.
You're stuck at home. You've gone through your bookshelf twice, and your goldfish don't have any more good Netflix recommendations. Computer. Wait, what?
Immersion.
Immersion. Okay. Okay. Computer. So, oh shoot. Computer, stop. I forgot my Alexa response to that word.
Oh wait, what'd you have the timestamp as?
I gotta.
37. Actually, let's change it now to
Here we go.
37.
Sorry. I had to mute my Alexa. Hey Zeph. By the way, hey Zeph. Hope you're getting some sleep. I know what it's like to have a
38 minute for gaming news. 38 and Stone News, gaming news in 3, 2.
You're stuck at home. You've gone through your bookshelf twice, and your goldfish don't have any more good Netflix recommendations. Computer, set course for immersion. That was the best Elio impression I could do.
I actually don't say it that way. I go immersion. My immersion.
Yeah. If the pandemic has been a boon to anything, it has to be online gaming. But this crisis too shall pass, leaving tabletop RPG players wondering, is online play where it'll be at from now on? Are the days of dead tree sources dead tree sources? Yeah. Okay. Are the days of dead tree source books, clacky dice, and actual physical interactions behind us? Apologies to our vast Vulcan audience, but the answer is a perfectly illogical yes/no. Michael Dismuke's recent poll on the Star Trek Adventures TTRPG Facebook site posed a simple question. How many players would stay online for their STA experiences? The benefits are clear. Recent explosive growth of online... The benefits are clear. Recent explosive growth of online STA platform support, relatively easier scheduling, all in the pantsless comfort of your own home. The poll results were mixed, yet somewhat symmetrical. Half of the respondents, 52% technically, said they'd return to mixed platform play, while 18% said they were never going back or had always played online. Finally, 4% said they'd either stay their online platform of choice or never had used them in the first place. But what the community universally appreciates is Star Trek Adventure's unique roots in a hopeful message. As Dismuke noted, quote, while we sit amidst a bed of social unrest, Star Trek promises a better future where the problems of today have been solved in the morrow. Having players walk away feeling like their characters have made a positive contribution to society is a big plus. Not all RPGs are designed to do this. Thank goodness we have Star Trek Adventures, end quote. With respect to the data set, we can conclude, meh, but that's not in there. People will seek their own ways to the final frontier. We just want them to do it safely.
You know, so Lennon, who for our older listeners will have remembered, used to do editing for our show, and he would guest host from time to time. Put together a Star Trek Adventures group for Priority One, and I was in the first round of it, and then things got crazy for me, and I wasn't able to do it. And now, Anthony, you're doing it now, right? You're a part of it.
Yep.
But I'll tell you what.
I noticed you left right after I joined.
I actually left and then invited you to take my place.
Oh, okay.
So I see the potential, like the lore of it, right? But for me, it's hard to get into it because it's not. I want it to be theater of the mind, right? Like I want it to be like a radio play where we all are just kind of in the role and we're going to do the thing, and it's hard for me to like suddenly stop to figure out, okay, well, game master, tell me more about this villain. You know, like it just sometimes the tabletop adventure crawls to a halt where what I want to do is play a role, you know, like an improv role, so to speak, you know. And that's not what tabletop is. It's not. It's a slow paced adventure. It really is. But that doesn't mean I don't appreciate it. That doesn't mean that, you know, from time to time I might not, you know, I wouldn't participate in one way, shape, or form, maybe for a one-off or something. But yeah, I think I've come to terms with the fact that it might not be for me.
I've never played one.
You should join our game.
Well, maybe
I will say-
will.
I will say this though, the best experience I've had thus far has been with Lennon, and it's because, first of all, Lennon has had time to put together the story, and then on top of that, he injects sound effects, and he injects these, you know, like if an alien species is speaking, he'll modulate his voice on his mixer board, and all of a sudden he sounds completely different, and so that's really fun. I can get into that, and I want more of that. Like I always want that, and you know, excitement and kind of going forward with it, you know.
Yeah, well, there's also different levels at which a group can play at too, and I think a lot of that comes down to like what the group wants to do. So if you can find a group that does want to go that far into it and at that level where you don't break character, you stay in character, you gather all the information you need from the game master in character in the game, you know, those are out there. I mean, you know, we've talked about them before, but the Clear Skies Star Trek Adventure show and the new spinoff that they're doing that Zeph Films actually did the intro for, they're much more in character, but it's you know, the speed too, it can sort of slow down, but at the same time it's nice to have kind of, especially this year, to have a nice relaxing sort of, here's 2 hours where I just get to sit, pretend I'm in Star Trek, and I don't really care how long it takes. So
Well, that's pretty cool. I'd try it.
If there's nothing specific, we can just close out. It's fine. It doesn't matter how short this.
I mean,
do you want
there's
to
nothing
CQ?
specific
Yeah,
other than the usual.
Yeah, let's just close out.
All right. I was gonna do like a whole overview of the Armada, but
Did you? Oh, you wrote it out. You wrote this. This is.
no,
ready,
I was
or-
just gonna wing it. But if you don't want me to, it's fine.
No, let's go. All right. Well, Kat, it's 2021 and the new year has begun. What's going on in Armada news? What's going
Wow.
on in Armada news?
Well, I'm happy to say we have had we have a monthly meeting, but we've also planned out some pretty exciting stuff throughout the year. We have regular events that we throw. Like every Thursday, we have TFO Thursday. So if you're logging into Stowe and you want to earn marks in dilithium, you can come hang out with us on Thursdays. You just check the time in your Fleet Events tab, and that will tell you what time it happens in your local time zone. Also, oh my God, sorry, I had a moment. Also, we live stream every Saturday night. So starting this Saturday, join us for the live stream. We live stream on Twitch, which is also a pretty good time. We run missions and hang out and talk about the Stowe news that happens that week. And maybe I'm not very good at winging it. But
I
anyway,
can't-
what? You can't edit that.
No, go ahead. Just wrap us up somehow.
All
Or
right.
Wrap up the Armada news because I have something else that we can talk about.
Awesome. If you're interested in joining the Armada, just go to PriorityOneArmada.com and submit an application.
So before we wrap up Star Trek gaming news, I do want to take a moment to look ahead in 2021 with respect to Star Trek gaming as a whole. Right now, there are a few players on the board, right? You've got in the mobile sphere, you've got Star Trek Timelines and Star Trek Fleet Command. In PC and console, you have Star Trek Online. On tabletop, you've got Star Trek Adventures. And then you've got a few other ones here and there, like the Hero Clicks and stuff like that. But I kind of want to say this. I'm growing concerned that all these games are growing long in the tooth. And we need an injection of something new, something exciting, and something engaging. There was a time that Star Trek Online was able to keep up with that. But, even after having a conversation with Stephen D'Angelo, not Stephen D'Angelo, even after having a conversation with
What year was
Andre
that?
Emmerich last month, talking about where Star Trek is and Star Trek Online is, I still find myself struggling to find a reason to log into Star Trek Online. And Luke Critter on Twitter, had posted a few days ago, those similar sentiments. And
I saw that. I was really interested in that thread.
And look, I've had burnout before from Star Trek Online, right? The first time I stepped away from Priority One podcast, it was burnout all for everything. I was just burned out. I was burned out from Priority One. I was burned out from Star Trek Online, and I needed to step away. But I don't feel burned out from Star Trek Online. On the contrary, I want to log in, right? I want to get into the game and I want to experience it because, at the end of an episode of, Star Trek Discovery or if I do a rewatch, I want to log in and I want to continue the mission, right? I want to continue the story. But I'm growing more and more. I'm finding it harder and harder I'm finding it more difficult each day to find a reason to log in. And when I do log in, I kind of wander around for a bit. Maybe I'll do a patrol or I'll do some kind of mission on random. One of the PvP missions on random, the random queues, TFOs, and then after that, I'm kind of like, all right, well, I'm done. So I hope that as we look forward into 2021, Star Trek Online can find a way, specifically Star Trek Online. These other games, they're mobile games, they're tap, tap, tappity, tap. You're not going to get anything out of them other than tap, tap, tappity, tap. But Star Trek Online is in a real position here to continue the mission, right? Like, Kat, I really loved when you said, it spoke to me when you said you finished The Mandalorian and you wanted to continue the game. And so you picked up, what was it?
SWTOR?
SWTOR, right?
Yeah.
I don't mean to shout you out here, but I think that says a lot, right?
Yeah, it comes to where I was craving storyline. Like, I wanted an adventure that I haven't already done 40-something times on my Stowe characters, because I did all those stories. I did all of them, and repeatedly. So, yeah, there's nothing new for me to do in the game. I mean, I still love going and logging in and doing the winter event and wearing my new sweater and seeing the new stuff, but there's no, like, I want to, especially, like, there's shows out. I want to see, like, more story. It doesn't have to be anything related to the shows. I want to see Star Trek story and I want to play it. And I think that I'm not getting that. So now I wanted to do something else.
You know, I too have suffered from, stow burnout in the past. It's interesting because I'm sort of further along in the cycle where I now have not replayed the Stowe storyline missions for such a long period of time that I've actually gone back and created a character to play through them again and re-experience them, sort of like a rewatch. And that's been fun. And I think from time to time you can do that, but if you said you've done it, 40 something times, it gets kind of old. And to the new content thing that you were saying, it's interesting because I've been playing a lot of Fleet Command and Timelines on mobile. And in Fleet Command, they've started putting, it started off as a game that took place in the Kelvin universe, and now they're adding, since the Paramount CBS merger, they're adding prime timeline stuff, and that started with Discovery, where you could get the USS Discovery as a ship, you could get the cast members from the show as crew members, and one thing I noticed was that literally the same week that we got those two Mirror Universe episodes in Discovery, they ran a Mirror Universe event with Mirror Universe Captain Killy and Emperor Georgiou and the whole. I mean, they, like, marketing wise, they backed that up a tremendous amount. And that's the first time I've ever seen that really in a game where I'm watching the show. They go into the Mirror Universe, and then literally later that day, I can log into a Star Trek game and play similar content and continue that story in a different way. And that was really cool and interesting. And that's been keeping me engaged with that game because of the marketing crossover. It's a shame that I think, because of Stow's workflow and because of the devs' workflow, they can't really provide that. And it takes a while for that to get into the game. Like, I'm sure we're going to get a 31st century disco, Discovery ship.
Yeah, are you kidding? Just today on social media, on the official Star Trek Online Twitter, they had retweeted CBS's image of the concept designs of the ships that we saw in Starfleet Academy in Discovery Season 3, like the USS Nog and the Voyager update, the Voyager J or whatever. And I mean, I can't be the only person looking at that retweet from Star Trek Online going, all right, here's a lockbox ship. Here's a something we're gonna have to pay for, and that's gonna be the new hotness. Whereas I think I would almost rather and I said this a few episodes ago, that I hope that they're not blowing their budget on voiceover work, right? And someone in the chat points out, but this was the year of COVID and blah, blah. The thing about it is that this is not exclusive to 2020, right? And the what we saw this has been kind of the last 3 years of Star Trek Online. That story content has taken a back seat, and content has been trickled out, right? Or whatever, or what happens is that they dump, one featured episode in 3 patrols, and then it's okay. Do these patrols, for the next 6 months. Let's hope that this holds people over for the next 6 months.
And oftentimes, the new content episode gets reworked into those patrols,
right,
or the TFO. So when you go to play that content, you're literally just playing parts of that episode that dropped, which I understand from a workflow and a money-making perspective, but it makes the content, you get bored with it faster because you played it in the story, and then you go to play the patrol or the thing, and it doesn't feel like new content. It feels like, just sort of like, regurgitated content.
Yeah, I thought those patrols should be an extension of that story. Like, oh, here's what else happened while that was going on. While you were down there doing that, these guys were up here, and now you can help do that. Yeah, so it's frustrating because I've played this game for 6 years now, and I've never had burnout. I've never wanted to play other games, and yet now I do.
I think COVID delayed some of the new content, and maybe it's just because of the way that it fell in the calendar, but I'm expecting new content soon. Like, if not with the anniversary, right after the anniversary, I'm expecting new content, and I hope they deliver. I hope that it it's something big, like the last, House Divided or House Shattered content that we got, and because I thought that stuff was really really good, and the quality when they release it, the quality is fantastic,
Yeah.
Oh
but it's
yeah,
the
absolutely.
it's the way that it's trickling in and trickling down, and hopefully we get some new stuff soon.
Or let me ask you this: do we need a new Star Trek game? Do we need not necessarily an MMO, but do we need something new from a developer that can take on something that is a sandbox or open world, GTA, a cyberpunk that isn't,
I
buggy?
Absolutely. I would love a AAA console game. Similar to one of my favorite games is Red Dead Redemption 2. I play that every single day. The online, I play it every single day. And the story of the story mode of that game is one of the best games, I've ever played in my entire life. I mean, granted, I'm not a huge gamer and I haven't played a ton of games, but I was so invested in that story. I want a game like that. It doesn't have to be that quality or even that far in that direction, but I want it to be an attempt. I want them to try to give me a story. Like, you see these Star Wars games come out all the time. Fallen Jedi,
Fallen Order. Well,
Fallen
Fallen
Order.
Order is a little too linear for me.
Fallen Order. But I mean, even something similar to that, um, where it's almost like a feature length story, but you get to interact with it, and some new content, new characters. There's an entire world. They did the 2009 tie-in video games, but that was basically you're playing those
Garbage.
characters, and that, yeah, give us create some characters, and give us a side story. I mean, Star Wars has been doing that successfully for a number of years. I mean, they gave us Star Killer, they gave us this character in Fallen Order. That there's these characters that live on in our minds, and we want to take those adventures. And like you were saying, Kat, you want to go on a new adventure, and you want to experience some new story content. That's a perfect way to do it. I mean, that's one area where I feel like Star Trek has never really gone into recently. I mean, they had some of the PC games in the 90s where you could play as the TNG crew or the DS9 crew, but they've never really given us a new world and a new character and gone in a new direction in the universe. And that's what I want.
Now, changes are coming to Star Trek Online, right? In our interview with Andre, Nature Guy points out, we were hinted that perhaps the red versus blue wall was finally coming down, right? And that the Titan release was a happy accident for them. So maybe, I don't know to what capacity that's really going to impact the game. Maybe we'll see more active TFO queues, right? If the faction walls come down, right? But I don't know that the game mechanics for Star Trek Online are the problem, but more so the consumable content, right? The ongoing mission, right? That's what I want. I want the, Star Trek, the final, space, the final frontier. These are the ongoing missions of my captain, of my starship. And I would gladly sacrifice, the Star Trek voiceover actors and put that money towards creating Star Trek Online missions, right? And so that, yeah, sure, Star Trek Online continues to be a theme park MMO, but a theme park that has new rides.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to sweep this out, please. Actually, that's a really good community question. And so that leads us to our next community question for this episode. Looking ahead to 2021, as Star Trek continues to pop out new television shows and announce new series, when it comes to gaming, what are you looking for in a Star Trek game? What would keep you? What could Star Trek Online do to entice you to come back on a daily, weekly basis? Or do we just need a brand new game? Let us know in the comments section for this episode at PriorityOnePodcast.com or by replying to our social media posts.
That's the news from Whoops, that's where I can't read. That's the news from Trek Games this week. Now let's look on screen and see what's incoming. Wait, is that right?
Let's look on screen and see what's incoming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds weird.
Oh, let's look on screen. I see what you said. No, it's not right. That's not right. I'm sorry. Let's look on screen. Let's look on screen for the next episode of Star Trek.
Okay. That's the news from Trek Games this week. Now let's look on screen to the latest episode of Star Trek Discovery.
1010204. All right, you guys ready for on screen? I need a drink.
Ooh, me too.
All right, go. Well, Anthony, I'll have a conversation. You go, and then we'll take turns.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so tired.
So,
I haven't even logged in once for the winter event. I don't care.
I mean, I logged in and got the ship. I like to do the DOF missions to get the because I have so many characters. I can do it. I can farm the winter currency stuff, the ornaments, because they have some nice bridge officer abilities in the winter event store that are nice that you can use if you can't afford like the bigger stuff. Yeah, even Zeph is saying he didn't even bother with the ship. He just didn't care
about
so.
sweaters. I don't care,
I will say the ship did not excite me at all. The only thing that excited me was possibly getting a console that I could use on a different ship, because I have my main Klingon uses some of the other Fikiri consoles that have come on the other ships. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll get that and maybe use it. But I agree. I even made it my goal to log in and try to do all the winter events once this year, and I couldn't even get through all of them. They haven't added anything new to it.
Another thing too is that the winter events, it's the same event. If you've played one winter event, you've played them all. Well, at least if you played the one winter event in the last 6 years, you've played them all. Yeah. Right? It's ice skate around the. I don't want to play it. I don't want to ice skate anymore. I don't want to ice skate anymore. So there's no doubt that MMO communities change, right? Like, and we've seen this as a podcast. Podcasts have come and gone because the community changes, right? It's unheard of that Priority One has been covering Star Trek Online for 10 years, right? Like that's crazy. I don't even think World of Warcraft's. I mean, maybe the Warcraft podcast is still going, but and this also has little to do with Cryptic's ability, right? Anything that I've said has little to do with their ability. They know how to publish games. They know how to really capture what brings a game in, right? Or what pulls a game in. So, I'm at a point where I'm like, yo, Cryptic, start a new Star Trek Online game, right? Recreate Star Trek Online with the latest technologies that you've had in developing Neverwinter and now Magic, and let's make a new game, right? That isn't as bloated. Star Trek Online also suffers from bloat, right? It definitely suffers from bloat. You've got a reputation system that is incredibly bloated. The UI is incredibly bloated. DOF systems that, by now, I mean, I think I have one that isn't done yet. I think it's recruitment. I think that's the one that I just never bothered to do.
It's so hard to get.
Yeah, because you got to keep going all over the place. There's a bloat to Star Trek Online that, like, I remember. I think it happened in World of Warcraft, and if it wasn't World of Warcraft, it was Star Wars. It may have been Star Wars Galaxies. that they wiped everybody's characters and everybody had to start from scratch. You know, shit, man, do that. Do that. Maybe I don't know. I don't know.
Wow, that's a
I'm
big
desperate.
ask.
Like, you better not do that and take away all my ships that
Yeah,
I
that's
spent
true,
all
that's
that
true.
money
I know, I
on
know.
because
I
But
think
I would. Okay, let me not say just do it. It's bad for me to say do it just to do it. But if it would mean that if they shut down the servers for 6 months, just so that the DOF system was either removed or reinvented, or new technology, or a new the engine that was created for Magic and Neverwinter, if there was a way for that to be brought into Star Trek Online, and it's Star Trek Online 2.0, I would gladly not pay Star Trek for 6 months, or not play Star Trek for 6 months just for that.
I think part of the problem too isn't necessarily Stowe. It's that Star Trek as a whole around Stowe has become more active over the last 5 years. I mean, we have 3 new TV shows that we've already seen. We have what, 4 or 5 more coming. We have, we're hearing rumors of movies being produced for streaming service. There's mobile games that are going strong.
I smell you're stepping in. I
But
do.
all I'm saying is that I'm not. It's not an excuse. I'm just saying that I think that part of it is the perception that there's so much going on around it that because Stowe hasn't changed at all, they've been doing the same thing and they've been doing it good. But it's just that
Nah, it's not just
they're
that,
not
man.
keeping up with it.
A little bit. Like, I get, a little bit. There's a lot happening, but I would say Star Trek Online, the first 7 years, first 6 years, seemed to be very story focused. And I remember back then, 6 years ago, content drought.
Oh,
Because if 3 months went by and there wasn't a new featured episode or new stuff, it was content drought, right? I remember those days.
No, I agree.
But now we can go 6 months, 8 months before we see a new featured episode. And again, I don't know that the problem. I mean, we spoke to Andre last month, right? COVID didn't really impact them from what he described as severely as it might have impacted, Magic, right? Or which is in development, right? All the pieces are there for Star Trek Online, right? That's the interpretation I got from that interview, was that all the pieces are there. So for their transition into work from home wasn't as cataclysmic as it might be for a game in development, right? So I can see that if they had, so it's not just about them having to readjust to COVID life. It's that this has been a trend in Star Trek Online even prior to COVID, where storytelling took a back seat. And for what though? For
new players. I know exactly what you're saying, and I think the answer is that over the last few years, and especially since Discovery has started, I think their focus has gone to new players, because everything that I've seen with the Zen store, how they're releasing packs and bundles, the way that they're producing the content, and the way they're monetizing game mechanics, like paying to get to level 5 in your reputations, all that stuff, I believe, is focused on new players. I think that they are trying to capitalize on the influx of new players that are coming in based on all the activity of Star Trek around them. And I think that the side effect of that is that veteran players like us are finding it less interesting to log into the game every day. And I'll be honest with you, the format that they've come up with has kept me interested enough that I am in the game almost every day. But it is not because there is tons of story content like there used to be, or that I feel like I'm going in to experience that Star Trek immersion. It's because I feel like they've created a system where I can give minimal effort to keep up with what's going on, and
You know what it is,
so
too?
I'm okay with that.
You know what it is too? Is the missions have changed too. They have, instead of telling their own story, right? The storytelling has now been, how can we write a story that's going to include Paul Stamets? That's going to include
Michael Burnham.
Michael Burnham, right?
Lorca.
And so that mission that we did on with Rock Lobster,
No measure of morality.
yeah, measure of
Excalibur,
morality.
the 10th anniversary mega
Yeah,
event,
like
missions.
that mission.
Well, that mission was to celebrate Star Trek.
But even the Klingon, right? Even this whole house divided thing,
Yeah.
I feel doesn't have the same gravitas as the entirety of the Iconian arc. Right?
Well, it's because we're not getting it like an arc. We're not getting it like an arc. We're getting it's the same with the Discovery content. They drop a little bit in here, a little bit there, a little bit there. And I did not like the way they released the Discovery arc. And my concern was that, I think I even asked Al once in an interview, like, are you just testing the waters with this? Is this because of the way that because Discovery happened, you wanted to get some of this content out as fast as you could, and then you're going to fill it in later on? Or is this a new model for delivering content? And my concern was that I don't like that. I don't like the way that model works for delivering new content. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're like,
the way Andre explained it was, so they wanted to release in smaller chunks so they could remain flexible based on this new stuff coming out. But I don't agree. I don't think it's working because it doesn't keep your interest.
No,
Again,
I would rather look, let them do their own thing, right? The way they did it before Star Trek became a thing again, right? On small screen, right? I want Star Trek Online to not. I would like Star Trek Online. If we're gonna incorporate, like a Paul Stamets story or a Michael Burnham story or a 7 of 9 story, then let those be the one-offs. Let those be those, like, oh, we're gonna go on a new adventure.
Anniversary missions.
Yeah.
I agree. But
and again, it's not that they're not capable. It's not that they're not talented. It's not it's a reflection. I don't know. It's a reflection of budgeting. I don't know what it's a reflection of.
No,
they do it, right? They can. We have seen them do it. The last time I went, the last time I remember being like super wowed by Star Trek Online was when we were able to grapple down a cave wall.
Ooh, I love that mission. Dragons to Sea.
Yes, yeah. And listen, I'm not even a bit, Voyager grew on me, and I think Voyager grew on me because of Star Trek Online, right? Like, I wasn't a big Voyager fan, but then I started to play those missions, and I was like, all right, let me start watching Voyager again so I can kind of know what they're talking about. And now I happen to like Voyager. I'll go to sleep to Voyager or something. But yeah, the last time I was wowed by missions, it kind of ended with the whole Voyager thing, the whole Voyager arc.
The last time I was wowed by a mission was actually the one one of the more recent ones where
that's our show. We'll continue to go on as we want. Thanks. Go ahead.
The last time
the executive producer. Who are you? Who you is?
Yeah, you hush.
Wow. I don't even know what to say. The last time I was wowed in a stow mission was actually in the mission where you're at Alliance headquarters and you're trying to find the bombs that Jula put there, and then she attacks the
the mycelial wave comes down.
Yeah. With that big explosion, you got to run from it. I was like, holy crap! I was like, damn.
That's a great.
Because the thing is like you gotta, as you're running, there's like fallen people and you can stop and help them. But if you stop and help them, you're gonna get eaten by the wave. And I was like, how do I save all 15 of these people to get the accolade in order to? I can't do it like this. Like I felt I that's the last time and one of the few times in the game where I felt in the moment and in that like the immersion was real. You know, it's like, oh my god, I gotta go, I gotta save these people, but I can't because I gotta make some choices. I gotta make some tough choices, and I gotta go. And
dude, you're too close to the mycelial wall. You're too close.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
and but they're few and far between. And the thing is that, and as to what you were saying, Elio, about the letting them do their own thing. I agree, but I know that I'm going to have moments where and I'll tell you, I just had one recently, season 2 of Discovery, and you see the Enterprise at the end of that season kicking ass, and it's like, I want to play it in the game, You see it earlier in the season, but we couldn't get it in game until after season 2, and it's like, I'll be honest, I don't like the idea that they're doing modular stuff to be more flexible with the new content coming out. I'd rather they just, like you said, do their own thing and then maybe go back and I don't know. I don't think it's an easy answer, but I think what they're doing is not pleasant.
There's no doubt that Star Trek Online has to capitalize on whatever CBS produces on television, right?
Yeah.
But there's got to be a better way of balancing it. There's something. I don't know. I don't know the workings behind 10 years of covering, Cryptic Studios and Star Trek Online. I don't know. I'm not privy to any of these things. But what I will say is I miss Star Trek Online. I miss it. I do miss it. I miss playing the game. And even though the game is still active and still alive, there's not much for me there now, and I do miss it.
The other problem too,
there's nothing new to, pull from it. There's just
the other problem too, though, is that they know the numbers, they know how many people are logging in, they know what people are spending money on, and as much as we could complain about this, they could also be looking at the numbers and at the stats and saying, we're having our best year. A majority of the people love the way that we're doing this stuff. So this is how we're going to do it moving forward. And that's great. And I think that brings us back to your other point about a different Star Trek game in a different medium. And I think that we have reached a point now with all the activity around Star Trek, we have the space and the fan base to go in different directions and to put money into a AAA console game or to put money into this or to put money into that for marketing purposes.
I don't think they did it on purpose because, it's funny. Andre had said, that just because he came from mobile gaming, that was a short stint in his life. I don't think so. People have been comparing this recent, how do I phrase this? It seems that when Andre took over, that's when the things started to shift, which just so happened to also be when Discovery took over, right? When Discovery launched, right? So Andre's been around for about 3 years, 3.5, 4 years, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that the changes to Stowe, right? Like, the new Discovery lockbox, or let's, what can we get from Discovery that can be sold in Stowe? I don't think that was intended to be as mobile-esque as they meant. But now what's happening is that they've fallen into this cycle of, that new shiny from Discovery, we got to get into the game. Okay, let's get it into the game. Because they're trying to capitalize on whatever excitement Discovery or the new shows pop out. They're capitalizing on that. Yeah. And inadvertently, what they're doing is releasing things much like Starfleet Command or Star Trek Fleet Command on mobile, or Timelines, where, new hotness, let's put it in a bundle where people have to spend money to get it. I don't think it was purposefully done that way. I just think that if you step back and you compare, it really resembles a mobile game, right? Where it's a new hotness, shiny item versus the content behind it.
I wish we had a new player to talk to because I'd be interested in what a new player has to say, like their impressions of playing the game. I feel like maybe we've been playing it so long, like we just seen it all. But
I think that's part of it, but I don't. I think
Yeah,
I
me
think there's
too.
more to it than just that.
Because the new
And
player also, from the new player experience, yeah, they're gonna get through all the missions and they're all gonna get to it, and then they're gonna, are they gonna try to get through all those reputation systems? Right? Is a new player really gonna try to get through 13, 12, 15 reputations? Are they really gonna try to do the DOF systems? Like, it took me like 6 years to do the DOF systems because I play an MMO hella slow, like stupid slow. Matrix Online closed out before I got to level 50. Yeah, take a drink. No joke. I got to level 50 like a week before they closed down. Like when they announced that Star Trek Online was Matrix Online was closing, I was like, oh shit, I better get to level 50 for some reason. I play an MMO like I take my sweet ass time with an MMO. And I still don't have all the accolades in stow. I still don't have all the DOFs. I'm missing one DOF and the one DOF recruitment. I don't have all the ships. I've gone through the reputation, but I don't have all the gear from the reputation.
no, me neither.
I don't.
well, that's the first thing I do is I get the ground set so I can unlock the costume.
Well, I do that, but
And I don't the endeavors. What for? Like,
oh my god, endeavors are amazing.
Yeah.
so I don't know. It just even if we did get a new player, I think I don't know. Anyway,
All right,
let's do on screen. Let's bitch about on screen.
rant over.
This is good. We got this out of our system before.
Yeah, I feel much better because I was feeling kind of alone and like, man, I don't really have anything to do in game.
I've definitely been there. I've been there probably 2 or 3 times over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm just at a different point in the cycle, and
I don't think it's burnout, man. I really don't think it's burnout because if it was burnout, I wouldn't want anything to do with anything that was Star Trek or Star Trek Online. It's that when you log in, how do you feel when you log in? Are you just sitting there going, what do I do now? I guess I could rearrange my inventory.
I mean, I
do
do my endeavors and
I mean,
yeah.
it's interesting too, Elio, because you have one character, right?
Yeah.
Like Kat and I have lots of characters. And to me, actually, the thing that drives me to play is I like the thought that drives me to play is, ooh, I want to set up a character with this ship and this style of fighting or this ground style, or like I want to make a character around some of the aesthetics and the mechanics that are being released in the new ones. Like for instance, I was telling Kat that I purchased the Mud's time stealing pack, and I got the Verne class destroyer, which is the Wells class time ship from Voyager, the tier 6 one, for my my character that has the Wells uniform, right, the future uniform. And part of that pack, I got to choose some other stuff, and I got the Amari.
Ooh, I love that ship. The smuggler vessel.
Yeah, the smuggler vessel. And so, I have a Klingon character that I'm going to put that on. That's sort of like a rogue, runs around and exactly. And so that's what appeals to me about the game right now. Is doing that kind of stuff. But even then, that's a bit of a slog because then I got to find a build for the ship, for the ground idea. I got to go get those consoles, get those weapons, level the stuff up. I got to get, this, that, or the other thing. I'm fortunate because I've been playing the game so long. I have a backstock of resources, right? I can mine dilithium, so that I can have a couple million dilithium when I need it. I have, millions of energy credits. I have pre-order items from when the game first launched that I can just pop in. I've done most every event since the game started, so I can go to the Reclaim store and just grab all that stuff, So I'm fortunate that when I have a new character, I have a lot of resources I can pull from to get them set up so that I can then go after the gear that I need, and it doesn't take very long. I did the Delta recruit and the Gamma recruit, so I literally can start a new character, level to 20, and then walk over to the Temple Agent and get thousands of marks to be able to unlock the reputations. So I'm fortunate in that. I would love to talk to a new player to see how they feel about the game, because I think that our position and point of view and perspective is drastically different than a new player.
You know what else too is there are some minor things that, man, I wish they would do, like instances. Is there really a need for 40 instances, man, of Earth Space Dock? Earth Space Dock is freaking huge, like big, right? And like, do we need like?
I thought the maps could only handle like 20 players at a time.
I don't. Maybe back in the day because of server issues.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Now, you know, like it just, you know, it's. I think that if we maybe there are a few things I think that Star Trek Online could do to help improve quality. I think it's also quality of life thing, right? Where like if I log in and I go to Earth Space Dock and there's barely anybody there, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I think of that. I think of deltas, which I've been after Al to do for years. Like, holy shit, every game that I've ever played, if I want to compare my current item to a new item, I see the difference, right? Like I think of Cyberpunk, right? If I want to change my pants,
Yeah.
I see the difference. I see that these new pair of pants are going to increase my defense by 20%. I see it goes green and it's plus 25, right?
Yeah.
Or if it's a shittier pair of pants, then it's red and it's a negative 20, right? Especially
that's a good point. I never even thought of that.
I'm pretty sure Champions Online does that. And that came out before Star Trek Online.
And you know what? Especially for Star Trek Online, that is so bloated, right? It's got so much shit that even reputation set bonuses barely make a difference anymore. Like barely, like really. Like there's no, like back in the day, we were all like, yo, we gotta get the Aegis set. Remember the Aegis set shit? Everybody gotta get the Aegis set.
My God, that's so antiquated now.
Now you have to get the Discovery ground set. Yeah.
Right. Like, you know, all of that changes. So what ends up happening is that, let's say I don't want to worry about sets, but I want to make sure that my exotic particle generator is decent enough so that I can, pop out a decent gravity well or something like that. It would be helpful if all of a sudden I can compare my deflector dishes very easily and say, oh, okay, this one has plus, a greater chance of, it's just quality of life things that, I don't know, man. It's 10 years old. That's why I'm thinking, like, geez, it's, maybe,
Yeah, you have a point. I mean, yes, all of those things.
I can't imagine being a player right now, man. With all the
Jamal, I will say, Jamal, that playing it for the story is worth it. Because once you play through all the story arcs and even on both the Federation and the Klingon side, it's worth it, because they have told some amazing Star Trek stories, and I cannot recommend it enough just to play it for the story. Even if you never play it again after you play all the stories, it's highly worth it. The problem is that we have played those stories so many times that it's not even, I mean, I'm at a point where I can go back and replay them and enjoy them right now, but once I replay them again, it's not, I'm going to be like, whatever.
Yeah,
so.
That's good to do, like every 6 months or something, or you're going to make a new character. But yeah, now I'm like with you, Anthony, I'll come up with an idea for a build and then work on that and then be bored again.
Exactly. Yes. All right.
So,
why don't we let's do on screen.
All right, what timestamp?
About that now. All right, so let's just do an even. Might as well wait 20 seconds. But we'll do 130. 00. All right, on screen in 3, 2. Computer. Set start on screen in 5.
That's old.
Computer. Set Star Trek Discovery Season 3, Episode 12. There is a tide on screen.
This week on Star Trek Discovery, Osiris steals the Discovery with German efficiency, and like a bunch of goobers, the Emerald Chain takes hostages. Burnham and Book crash the party with Book getting caught again and Burnham taking to the vents. Yippee-ki-yay. Osira tries to make a deal with Admiral...
Did you read this already?
No.
So this is entirely all Die Hard.
Oh, so I need a Bruce Willis this?
You got a Bruce Willis, yeah. Bruce Willis.
All right, let me think about it. Did you write this? This is awesome.
No, Jake did. I figured it's important that you know where the direction that this summary is going.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead, take it from the top. Okay.
This week on Star Trek Discovery, Osiris deals the Discovery with German efficiency, and like a bunch of goobers, the Emerald Chain takes hostages. Burnham and Book crash the party with Book getting caught again and Burnham taking to the vents. Yippee-ki-yay. Osira tries to make a deal with Admiral Vance, but leaves a bad taste in her mouth. Stamets is interrogated by a guy that looks like a Klingon, or a Klingon, or a Klingon. Meanwhile, Burnham keeps losing items to deep space. First her shoes, then her astromycologist.
You know what? It would be funny if you go like a Klingon, or another Klingon, or a different Klingon.
Nice. Roscoe.
Yippee-ki-yay, triple trucker.
Triple trucker. Oh, hilarious.
I want that T-shirt.
You know what? Actually, let's write it in.
Oh yeah, way to go, Roscoe.
Okay, triple. What else is? What else rhymes with? I don't like trucker. What's another? Ucker.
Just say it. Just say it and bleep it out.
Yeah, we could say it and just bleep it out. Let's.
I would say it and bleep it out.
Triple,
I think it's worth it.
Triple.
I'll say triple trucker, but you can bleep it out.
I need the F because then it's gonna be,
Okay. I feel uncomfortable doing that.
Take a swig and go for it.
All right. Sorry. Take it back.
Triple shucker.
Burnham and Book crash the party.
All right. Burnham and Book crash the party with Book getting caught again and Burnham taking to the vents. Yippee-ki-yay, triple fucker. Can't do it.
I told you, it's worth it. It's so good.
All right, then.
About it. Come on, give me a good triple fucker.
You want me to do it again?
Do it just yippee-ki-yay.
Haven't you seen him say it? You've seen Die Hard, right?
It's my favorite Christmas movie. All right. Yippee-ki-yay. All right. Yippee-ki-yay, triple fucker.
Yes.
Osira tries to make a deal with Admiral Vance, but leaves with a bad taste in her mouth. Stamets is interrogated by a guy that looks like a Klingon, or another Klingon, or a different Klingon. Meanwhile, Burnham keeps losing items to deep space. First her shoes, then her astromycologist. When all looks lost, the sphere data shows up via a few .7, and you're not gonna tell me. They aren't the cutest things you've ever seen. Welcome to the party, pals.
By the way, I think they're .32s or something like that.
I thought they were .7s.
No, they're the new. They're the 31st century version.
Yeah, they are .32s. .32. Something like that. Somebody fact check us. Fact check. But .27. Thank you, Salaknar.
Did we lose the stream? I just got a network error.
No.
That must be me.
I still see it on Twitch.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're .27s.
Super Troopers, yeah.
All
right.
Take it from when it all looks.
When all looks lost, the sphere data shows up via a few .27, and your Nakatomi not gonna tell me they aren't the cutest things you've ever seen. Welcome to the party, pals.
Come to the Discovery. You'll have a good time. All right,
have a few drinks, have a few laughs.
This episode was written by Kenneth Lynn and directed by fan favorite Jonathan Frakes. This one aired on New Year's Eve, December 31st. All right, so let's jump right in. Let's talk about what our favorite moments were here. Kat, why don't you go first?
I knew you were going to say that. Let Anthony go first.
Oh.
Well, I was going to sandwich her because I was going to, tell
Oh,
him
'cause you.
why I hated the show, and then Anthony can be like,
Oh, okay. And then
I
why?
should always be last because he
Yes.
knows I like the show.
So, Kat, what did you think of the show? What was your favorite moment?
Hmm.
That's
Yeah, I
the last time
mean,
I listened to you, Mark. Dot 23. We gotta take it back and correct ourselves.
damn it, Mark,
All right,
giving us wrong info. I'm like, I can't remember even what I liked about this episode.
No, wait, hold on. We gotta re-record the dot 23 thing.
All right. Hold, please. When all looks lost, the sphere data shows up via few dot 33. Damn it. I'm just going to call them 33s. Yeah. When all looks lost, the sphere data shows up via few dot 23. When you're not gonna tell me they aren't the cutest things you've ever seen. Welcome to the party, pals.
Come to the disco. We'll have a good time.
Have a few laughs.
All right, this episode was written by Kenneth Lynn, directed by fan favorite Jonathan Frakes, and first premiered on December 31st, 2020. All right, so let's jump right in. Kat, why don't you talk to us a little bit about what you enjoyed about this episode?
You know, I had some issues with this episode, but I did like Tilly. I know people have been having some issues with her, but I like how she was dealing with the after effects of Osira just taking her ship away. And I really do like Book. I think he does well.
All right, so what was it that you didn't like about it? What was it that kind of...
The whole story. Oh, and I mean, there's. I just want it to do better with stuff, and things come back like the sphere data. What? That just shows up. I'm like, the sphere data, like, Zora wouldn't have helped them not, or keep Osira off the ship.
How
No.
easy was it for Osira to delete the data from all the computers, but the sphere data had to run and hide in the dot 23s?
Well, not
all right,
just
you know what?
that.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
But, like, didn't they couldn't delete the data before, and now all of a sudden it's just going to relocate into some other things?
No, they mentioned that there was some data they couldn't do anything with.
Well, anyway, I mean, I just, yeah, there's just some glaring plot holes generally, but, yeah, I mean, why does Book keep leaving Grudge on the ship when crazy stuff happens on that ship? I think he should just let Tilly have that cat.
So, anything else? Any other comments?
I'm like, I'll just build off what you got. I mean, I watched the episode and every time I'm like, I really want to like it so much. And then sometimes it just doesn't work.
So, all right. My notes are that the cinematography and visual effects for this are great. I mean, Jonathan Frakes has a remarkable eye. I mean, man, can that man direct and film television. I mean, this was definitely Die Hard in Star Trek. There's just no way around it. And I can't imagine that they went through filming this without making Die Hard jokes, right?
They had to have. They had to have.
And that's okay. That's fun and exciting. And again, I thought that it was all filmed very well. Again, he just knows how to frame a camera and frame a scene. It's just always fantastic. He also knows how to work with a script. I mean, he's Jonathan Frakes, man. I just want him to direct everything. I also want to give a call out to the casting for this episode, or at least the focus of the characters of this episode, because I noticed immediately that everybody who had a speaking line in the Federation Starbase was a person of color. So you had or a minority, right? At least in the United States, right? So you had an Asian woman in the beginning where they're trying to figure out what the Discovery's doing. You have obviously Odin Fur, who's playing the Starfleet admiral. You have his assistant, or the second in command. And then when they go to confront Osira, and she finally beams aboard to Starfleet Academy, it is front and center 3 people of color. It was great. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So these subtle things that aren't in your face, I noticed. I picked up on. I said, "That's cool. That's awesome." Also, a shout out to Kenneth Mitchell. I mean, and casting. If you aren't aware, is it ALS? It's ALS, right? He was diagnosed with.
I think
Hold on,
so.
let me- before I-
That's Lou Gehrig's disease, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what.
You know, I only learned today that that was him, Ken Mitchell, in that role. I didn't recognize him when he wasn't a Klingon.
Yeah, ALS. And Kenneth Mitchell, if you don't already know, has played several Klingons in Star Trek Discovery, including an older and younger version of him, of the Klingon, or like the grandfather and the father. It's weird, but anyway, he's played 3 different roles on Star Trek Discovery already, and they brought him back. And you know, if you follow him, like I said, he's been diagnosed with ALS. He's already starting to use assisted mobility, and the fact that they brought him on shows a loyalty to the actors that you don't often see in other productions. I mean, you know, thankfully he has not progressed in ALS so far that he was incapable of doing the show, but that he was still able to, and they brought him back and they wrote a character for him. Or they cast him in the role and adapted it, which speaks volumes of what's going on behind the scenes in terms of their loyalty to their actors. So, you know what? Shout out to whoever's in charge of that, whether it's the casting director, whether it's the production staff. Good move, man. Like, just way to go.
I love that. I loved it. And as a note, he played Tenevik, the son of, and that was what you were referring to, that he played the older version, Tenevik, as the time crystal guy that they go to get the time crystal from.
Now, here's where I found it lacking. For starters, I swear to God, I don't understand why somebody doesn't put Burnham in a shield and then throw her out of an airlock. Because, yo, she can do whatever the frack she wants, but God forbid somebody else wants to do that, wants to say, screw it with you know, be damned the Discovery, be damned the Federation, I want to go save my family. Hold on, let me rephrase this. I lost my trail of thought somehow. Let me go back. Now, Burnham, okay, so let me talk about what I didn't like about the episode. Burnham is driving me up the wall, the way they're writing her character. Just earlier this episode, she goes rogue, she tries to save Book, she defies the Federation, she defies Saru. Even Saru and Tilly are like, WTF, mate, why is she doing this again? I thought she might have grown. And yet Stamets is pleading with her to save his family, and she throws him out an airlock. Not to die, he wore a, you know, magic space bubble, but like, how dare you? How dare you be that kind of person that you get to do whatever you want, but when somebody else needs to bend the rules and break the rules, you're not gonna back them up. You're not gonna be like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I've gone after somebody I've loved and tried to protect them, but you can't. I mean, that drives me up the wall.
I mean, like, that literally just happened in the last episode, right? Or 2 episodes ago, when she goes to say Book, and I had to, Tilly, I had to.
Right. And Stamets his whole life is on that planet, and she tosses him out an airlock. I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
that's just
No.
hypocrisy. That's just absolute hypocrisy. And I don't see anything to justify it.
Well, she is
Um,
saving the entire Federation by keeping.
But she has put the entire Federation at risk before. That has
I
never stopped her from doing something
no,
stupid.
I mean, I disagree. I don't think she took Book's ship to go save Book. She didn't take the Discovery and have the Discovery in a position of being compromised, and that's what she's trying to prevent in this situation. I
Oh,
mean,
but
I don't
the Shenzo-
disagree. She's hypocritical.
What about what she did on the Shenzo?
Well, yeah,
You-
but that she understands that was a mistake.
Does she?
That was the whole first season arc. I mean,
So-
look, main characters in Star Trek bucking authority and making what they feel is the right call goes all the way back to Kirk. The problem is that she's the epitome of that, and she does it all the time.
But she chooses this one time to not do that?
No, she is. She thinks she's making the right call in saving the Federation by keeping Discovery out of us, by keeping Paul Stamets off Discovery, which would give Osira the ability to jump Discovery away. That's what she's trying to prevent.
I totally get it. I
Yeah.
totally get it. I totally understand why she did it, and that the needs of the many outweighed the needs of the few. But golly, she's really wishy-washy with that phrase, with that mantra, right? She's real wishy-washy. She only uses it's only when it suits her personal agenda. And if that's not what they're intending to display, I'm having a hard time seeing whatever moral they're trying to show us.
Well,
The other thing, and lastly, I'll say this: if I were to do anything different about this season of Discovery, is I would not introduce Osira as the main baddie. I would have rather kept Zara, or whatever his name is, the guy that we were introduced with in the second episode in that bar. That guy, that actor was sleazy, disgusting, and evil. And I would have loved, if I would have written this season, I would have flipped it where it was like, we discover that he is in fact the leader of the chain gang. Or on the other side of it, then let Osira have been the main baddie in that bar, but nobody recognizes her. She's like a, as the minister of the Orion Syndicate, nobody really knows what she looks like. She wants to protect herself, and then have her come back and, oh shit, she's the leader of the entire syndicate, right? I think that was a missed opportunity. Instead, mid-season, they try to introduce yet another villain in Discovery, when you had already introduced a really good villain in the first part of the season. So I would have done that differently. Overall, again, beautifully shot, beautifully directed. Tilly's performance was fantastic. I hope that we get to see Saru have that kind of moment where he takes command and he's, this is what we're going to do. Tilly tells them, if somebody falls, keep going. That's crazy. I can't believe Tilly said that. If somebody falls, keep going? Damn, girl. So,
Yeah.
It had moments. I enjoyed it, but when I pull back from it, it lacked quite a bit.
I mean, I think Saru had that moment at the end of season 2 when he takes command of Discovery to help get Burnham through the wormhole. I think that's his moment for that. As far as this episode goes, I've really been enjoying this season. I think it's definitely had some rocky moments, but I really love what they're doing with the characters. The overarching sort of sci-fi plot that's getting everybody where they need to be is a little wonky. I'll agree on that. And I don't disagree that Burnham's not hypocritical, but I think she's making whatever call she feels is the best in that moment for that situation. And unfortunately, it's one way in one episode and a different way in a different episode. But as far as this episode goes, I actually, Tilly is probably the best thing that's been happening in the last few episodes. This is not the first time Star Trek has done Die Hard. Does anybody remember
No,
the first
yeah,
Die Hard
Picard.
episode? Yeah,
Picard.
Picard and with the Baryon sweep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I forgot to mention. I just remembered. I'm like, I can't believe I forgot, and I had this in my notes. Apple shit. Oh my god, that was the
Oh,
best
yeah.
moment of the whole show.
Yeah.
Why did we not talk about that before now? Oh my god.
That exchange between Admiral Vance and Osira was amazing.
Yes, I did love that. I don't mind Osira. I think she's growing on me, but that Admiral Vance, you're eating shit. So
Well,
great.
the thing one of the things I loved about this episode was it really gave depth to Osira's character, and to be honest, I did not feel like she was a big bad like villain, like evil villain, until she shot
Rin.
Rin at the end, right in front of Aurelio, and that's the moment where I said, okay, she's gotten real dangerous right now, and Aurelio now knows it, and I assume that he's gonna maybe help in the final episode. But I think that that was the first time I really was like, oh wow, she's really a threat now, because she had an opportunity to get what she wanted, but in the end she doesn't really care about what she's talking about with Vance, with the armistice. What she cares about is keeping some form of control, or to be important in some form after after a reunification of sorts. The I'll be honest with you, the Die Hard stuff, I was a little over it. When they pulled, when whatever she was fighting that minion, and they pulled her shoes off and she was barefoot.
I know. I thought that too.
I was like, all right, guys, I think we've gone a touch overboard. I think if they hadn't, if the episode Starship Mine from TNG didn't exist, I might have appreciated this more. But I felt like, you've already done this. Like, why do we need to do it again? Like, is this like, why not just make this the Christmas episode too while you're at it? Like, I was like, all right, guys, I appreciate, I mean, don't get me wrong. Everything that happened, like when she gets stabbed and she had the limp, like I was like, all right, this is cool, but like, let's not push it too much.
It was one yippee-ki-yay motherfucker.
It's like all she needed to do was write on the guy's shirt, "Now I have a phaser rifle." Ho ho ho. I was like, why not? You're already there. You might as well do it, right? I mean, let's go. To be honest, this is my least favorite Jonathan Frakes episode he's ever done out of all of Star Trek.
No,
And
the last one he did was my least favorite.
I think the problem is that this is a middle episode in a.
Oh.
Sorry.
Communication coming in, Captain.
I think the problem is that this episode is the middle of a 3-part finale, and I think that's why it didn't quite work as well as the rest of the season for me, or the rest of Jonathan Frakes episodes. I felt like there was just a lot of service in areas that it didn't need to be, and I feel like they're stretching us to get to the last episode, and I felt that way a little bit with the Mirror Universe 2-parter. I felt like that kind of could have been 1 episode instead of 2. But overall, I've really been enjoying this season as far as character wise. I think that Burnham's character arc is a little too similar to previous seasons, and so I would like to see something new happen next season. But there's been growth, but it's been.
We're talking about this episode only.
Yeah,
I know you haven't been on here to talk about the other episodes.
So
focus it in on this one.
I'm looking forward to the final episode, to the finale of the season, and to season 4. But I mean, overall, I've been liking this season, and this was an okay episode for me.
All right, Kat, sweep us out.
That wraps up this week's on screen for Star Trek Discovery. Now let's open hailing frequencies and see what's incoming.
154.45. All right, let's just jump into feedback, which is 155.
Ken, actually, my ringtone says priority 1 message,
All right,
but my
feedback
text message is the.
in 3, 2. Well, Captain's hailing frequencies are now open, and even though we took a 2-week break, you did not fail us. Now, we are ready to receive your incoming messages.
Last week's community question was, what do you think of the Emerald Chain? Are they menacing or do they leave something to be desired?
Aggressively relaxing writes, I was so impressed by Osira in episode 12. Her ruthless approach that has given her the ability to give a better life to others forces her to show her true colors when she can't have it all. I really hope they stick the landing.
Also from Twitter, Ken from Chicago says, Emerald Chain and Osira take a big step up from Sanctuary and are a lot more menacing in Sukhal. And there is a tide. Osira puts her money where her mouth is and walks the talk. The regulators didn't ignore Morse code and have non-energy weapons as backup.
Again from Twitter, Melinda Hill, PhD, writes, I
think she actually
replies, hold on. What?
Well, you coughed a little bit, so take it from the top.
I was going to, but Tony, did you just say she's not an actual doctor?
No, I think she is.
Oh, okay. Well, PhD would indicate as such. Melinda Hill, wait, let me start over. Again from Twitter, Melinda Hill, PhD, writes,
PhD?
the Emerald... What? G?
I heard
D?
you say PhD.
Well, it's the new fad. Again from Twitter, Melinda Hill, PhD, replies, the Emerald Chain is like any economic system that ignores the laws of the universe by violating human rights. Karma has a way of biting the chain in the butt. Thing is, only a few people can see and understand this lesson. Even the Klingons knew when they were defeated.
Well, that wraps up episode 490 of Priority 1.
Wait, I thought we were in 91. No?
Oh, shit, you're in 91.
Sorry.
Well, that wraps up episode 491 of Priority 1, a Roddenberry Star Trek podcast. But there are more great shows available to you on the Roddenberry Podcast Network. Just visit podcasts.roddenberry.com for a complete list. Then be sure to subscribe to them all and share them with your friends.
And we can't forget to send a special thanks to some of our Patreon supporters like David K. Rutley, Peter Archibald, and Gerald Bosch.
And here's a reminder of our community questions this week. Has Saru earned our level of reverence as Picard, Kirk, Cisco, Janeway? And what did I ask in gaming?
Something about a new Star Trek game or something. I forget. I couldn't.
And if 2021 brought you a new Star Trek game, what do you hope it would be? Or if there were changes to, or what sweeping changes would you like to see in Star Trek Online?
Captains, it's important to us that you get your voice heard and that you participate in the conversation. Leave us a comment on our website at PriorityOnePodcast.com, on our Facebook page at Facebook.com/PriorityOnePodcast, or find us on Twitter and Instagram at PriorityOnePod.
And if you're still craving more, be sure to spend time with Winters, Anthony, Panda. Oh, wait, there's someone else. Gray. Oh, my God. Let me start over. I need to include those. And if you're still craving more, be sure to spend time with Winters, Anthony, Panda, Gray, me, plus the rest of the Priority 1 Armada. Saturday nights, the Armada broadcasts live to review the latest news from Star Trek Online and the Armada community, including spotlighting some of our amazing members. With regular giveaways, there's something for all Star Trek Online players, whether you're new or a veteran. Follow us on all our social media accounts for broadcast times, and if you'd like to join the Armada, visit PriorityOneArmada.com.
This episode of Priority 1 is brought to you by our patrons through Patreon.com. During these difficult times, we are humbled by the continued support of our patrons who find value in the content that we produce each and every week. Visit us at patreon.com/Priority1.
Don't forget to tune in to Priority One Productions Guard Frequency podcast at guardfrequency.com. Each episode, the Guard will take you inside the universe of your favorite space sims, including a tabletop adventure played out by your hosts. And Heroes Rise brings you up to date with the world of Dungeons & Dragons. Learn all about the latest publications, tools, tips, tricks, and traps in less time than it takes to skin a wyvern. Head over to heroesrisepodcast.com.
Silence. There's a mute button. You can lower the volume until it
Yes,
goes
I
on.
don't expect my wife to text me this late. Sorry. All right. Where was I? Learn all about the latest publications, tools, tips, tricks, and traps in less time than it takes to skin a wyvern. Head over to heroesrisepodcast.com to discover their secrets.
Thanks to our audio editors, including Gray, Brandon, William, Rand, Daniel, Roscoe, Lennon, and Skiffy. Thanks to our producer, Jake, and associate producers, Shane and Thomas. Together, they help us organize and write up our summary of the weekly headlines from the Star Trek multiverse. Thanks to our social media manager, Anthony, and guest host. Thanks to our graphic artist, Henry, with support from Jason of the Priority One Armada. Thanks to the composer of our theme music, Chris Watts. Most importantly, a big thanks to you, the Star Trek community, our listeners, because without your ongoing support, none of this would be possible. I need a timestamp on because it just hit stop. All right, we've gone over by 11 minutes. Roscoe, if you're still there, I'll send you the link in a moment.
Yay, Roscoe. Come hang out.
Roscoe, you're coming on for After Hours, right? I hope so.
Hope so.
Watching. Or did he tell me he couldn't make it? No, I don't remember.
Aww. Anthony, Ken from Chicago says your wife misses your epic beard, obviously.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is.
Okay, yeah, he's coming. All right, captains. Anthony, thank you so very much for filling in for Tony this week, and we will be back next Tuesday. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Jamal, I saw Lawrence there. Salaknar, Hatsuni.
Zeph Films.
Zeph Films stopped by. Nature Guy stopped by.
Ken from Chicago.
Ken from Chicago. Dave Rutley. We got a lot of people talking.
Panda was there.
All the way down in Argentina.
Restreambot stopped by.
Jamal, what ringtone are you talking about?
You saying
mine.
Yippee-ki-yay, triple fucker.
Oh.
Oh no, I thought it was my propane and propane accessories line.
No, it was the triple.
Oh.
All right, so yo, Zeph, you should join. Why don't you join us for After Hours, Zeph?
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, come on, Zeph.
You want to jump on After Hours with us?
What he's asking if we're talking about Stowe.
No, we're talking. Well, no, we're probably talking about the latest episode of Disco. Lawrence, what are you doing? You want to come on too?
Oh wow, let's make it a party. I want to come. Can I come?
I
was gonna, but I mean, if there's so many people coming, maybe I'll just go to bed.
I'll bow out. You guys can do it without me. All right, so.
Do we know how to record without you?
No.
Oh yeah, it'll work. All right, guys. Until next week. Say goodnight, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Good night. Thank you.